T-boned, and I was a vegetarian. Meat was a real Texan kind of guy. Mustache, small government, 6'1", 220 pounds. This was a man built by God to tackle. And I looked down at his sausage fingers wrapped around my hand as he shook it. It was my first week at college. Student organizations had set up tables all around campus, petitioning new people to join their clubs. And I just decided to join club rugby. Meat patted me on the back, gave me a smile, and sent me on my way. He was thrilled that he had a new recruit. I felt a little bad about it, though, because I left out one crucial piece of information. I had never, ever played a contact sport in my life. Now, if you don't know what rugby is, I'll give you one line about it. Rugby is like football in America, but there are no pads and there are no helmets. It didn't take me too long to figure this out. During my first practice, he thought nothing of it. He sent me out onto the field for a simple defense drill. I get the ball passed to me, I look to my left, look to make a pass, and all of a sudden, I am blasting off into space. Now, if you've ever watched Batman versus Superman, you know how Superman just pushes Batman and then he just flies into the air. His arms and legs are like this, and then he just hits the ground back first? That's what happened to me. I could feel my heartbeat in my eyeballs. I couldn't believe what had happened. I couldn't believe it felt that way. And I tried so hard to get up, and I just couldn't. And Meat ended up coming over. He just slung my arm around his shoulders. He walked me off, set me down on the metal bleachers, and we just watched practice go by in silence for a while. And then he looked at me and he said, "See you tomorrow?" And I said, "Yep." And this went on for weeks and weeks and weeks. I'd just get lit up. I broke a finger, got concussions, bloody noses, the whole thing. And every time Meat was there, didn't say a word, didn't ask any questions, just picked me up and sent me back onto the pitch. Meat never did ask me why I was doing this. I'll tell you. So every practice, I would take the 656 bus from UT Austin's engineering building, 25 blocks up north to the intramural fields. And on the bus, I would think about little Ashwin, 7-year-old Ashwin. I'd think about how his asthma would make him fail every fitness test he took in PE. I'd think about how kids would always pick him last at recess, or how some people told him that he was going to hell because he was an Indian. And I think about how he internalized all that hate and anger at himself, and my heart would hurt as I think about how little Ashwin would hide in bathrooms and scratch himself and pinch his own skin because he just couldn't take it. And while I was thinking about little Ashwin, and I was thinking about how much he hurt back then, I would watch these highlight reels of these rugby players, these larger-than-life people, and I'd think to myself, what would it be like to feel that big and powerful? And so for months, I would go to practice, for months and months and months. And slowly, I started to get a little better. And before I knew it, Meat pulled me off of practice. He looked me straight in the eye, and he said, "You're a 15th player against the University of North Texas." And I said, "What?" I'm not ready for that. He said, "You'll see." And so we went all the way up to Dallas. It was white jerseys against green jerseys. And a couple of minutes into the game, I'm dreaming about this perfect tackle that I'm going to make. This guy breaks our defensive line, and I'm ready. My eyes are locked onto his hips. I'm ready to put my front foot forward, head outside the hip, all that good stuff. And then he just stiff arms me, catches me in the jaw, my head just snaps back, and then I just hit the ground, and I can taste a little blood in my mouth. And then I get right back up, and this happens over and over and over again. And then in the 85th minute, there's this big commotion in the center of the field. My hands are on my knees because I'm so tired, and I see the biggest guy they have. He's seeing the ball on the ground, and he's ready to pick it up and just punch through. And before I know it, I'm charging at him. My eyes are locked onto his hips. And boom! He didn't blast off into space, but man, that sucker went right down. After the game, my friend Patrick came up to me and he said, Ashwin, you know what Meat said? Meat said, man, that kid doesn't have a clue. But he's brave. Brave. Years have passed since then. I remained reliably our worst rugby player. But I got a lot better at kind of going back and doing the real brave work of thinking about why all of that hatred was internalized. When bullying happens to you that young, it's like someone has shattered a piece of glass in your brain, and it just grows around it. It feels impossible to take it out. And Meat showed me that I was strong and capable enough to do it. When I feel down on myself and I feel like I just don't want to do that anymore, I think about what Meat said. Brave. Maybe so, Meat. Maybe so.